vows to jail those rejecting old Naira notes as cash crunch worsens over bank's rejection of old note deposits. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade and Chris Kende Wandu. Thank you for staying with us. Following last week's tragic train crash in Lagos, which left 6 persons dead and many others injured, the driver of the bus involved in the accident was transferred to the State Criminal Intelligence and Investigation Department for interrogation. The police commissioner in charge of Railway Command, Yetunde Lunge, ordered the driver be subjected to psychiatric and drug tests, while 44-year-old driver Oluwaseun Oshibajo is said to have begged for forgiveness. Survivors say he had his earpiece on while driving and ignored the directive of flag officer at the rail line. Let's share updates on the story with you.
As early as 8 a.m. on Friday, colleagues, friends and families of victims still in intensive care scrambled to get the latest information at the Lagos State Teaching Hospital in Ikeja. Some of them are directed to go to other wards and hospitals as some victims have been transferred. Thursday's accident is still a shock to a lot of people.
No, the total fatalities remain 6. 2 outside, 4 here in Lasuth. Nobody else has died between yesterday and today.
Now, the commissioner had also stated that some persons have been discharged already, which is good news for a lot of persons. Some persons have been discharged from Lasuth. About 19 persons have been discharged from the trauma center in Tollgate. 5 persons have been discharged, and in Orile Agege, which is one of the general hospitals that patients were taken to, 8 persons have been discharged from that particular hospital. One of the first callers from the government is the wife of the president-elect, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. In company of the wives of the governor and deputy governor of Lagos State, Senator Tinubu met some of the victims. She's particularly impressed with the work the medical personnel have done in the last 24 hours and hopes for speedy recovery for those recuperating.
We can only wish them well and pray that things like this, God will, not let it happen to us. So Nigeria is really looking up to good times and a time of prosperity, and not this one. This is really, a blow to us.
Across political party lines, a number of Lagos residents trooped to the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service to donate blood, although some could not because of underlying medical conditions.
Amount of cry, wailing noise can support this victim, except enough blood for those that have lost blood. So that's why I'm here.
The best I could do on my part is to give some blood, Unfortunately, the lady said to me after running the test that my blood levels are low, so I may just be slightly anemic.
While thanking residents for their patience and support for the medical personnel, the government insists investigations into the cause of the incident are at preliminary stages.
A bit too early to really get a full detail from most of the passengers or the injured persons, because as you know and you've seen, some of them, a lot of them are in pain or have moderate to severe injuries. It's not a time for us to overstress them.
The capacity of those buses are 85 in number, with a sitting capacity of, I think, 45 and a standing capacity of 40. I think the bus was full to capacity because quite a number of people, due to the cash crunch situation, opted to go with the bus, which was free of charge.
The Lagos State emergency responders revealed that the accident occurred at 7:30 a.m. on Thursday. Emergency responders intervened at 7:45 a.m. They started a triage at the scene, which involved separating the bus from the train and rescuing persons. The first batch of victims were received at Lassus at 8:10 a.m. Thereafter, a second-level triage was activated at the Surgical Emergency Unit. Sarah Ayeku, TVC News, Lagos.
Jude, I think the driver should be subjected to thorough scrutiny, as recommended, because with what happened, I don't know what would have made a driver not to wait at that close range. The range was just too close for him to have calculated that that long bus would have sailed through before the train could make its way, and I'm sure the train would have been honking miles and miles away.
Yes, he's been subjected to psychiatric tests already, but we do not know the result of the psychiatric test. Many Nigerians are walking around and they're actually demented. You see signs of it. Even your engagement with people on social media will prove clearly to you that it's not everyone who can call his name that actually knows what he's doing. Many people can't explain their actions. Many people are maladjusted, including even our leaders. Many of them are not, they can't pass a test of mental scrutiny. So there's no reason in the world for what the guy did. No reason, absolutely no reason. Yes, it was early in the morning. That's usually what you call the early rush. But this one is an early rush to death. You cannot see a train approaching and not know what to do. You are a driver. That was why I was saying here that even the people hired to drive BRT buses, whether for the government or for the private sector managers, have to be thoroughly scrutinized. It doesn't matter who is in charge. They have to be thoroughly scrutinized. We've seen amongst them rapists and murderers. There's the case of a woman that was...
The black boss.
Yes. So these people need to be checked. And then unnecessary overconfidence kills drivers. Even where we work, sometimes we talk to some drivers, they believe that, look,
especially if you feel you are driving any state government or any branded vehicle, because you are driving something that has to do with Lagos state government.
Even some of our personal drivers sometimes would not listen. They believe that they are already too good, that they've been driving for years. They will tell you stories that didn't start driving today. Because the survivors said they were telling this guy not to advance. But he didn't listen. They also said he had
earpiece.
Yes, he had earpiece, you know. But even with the earpiece, you still have to hear when people are telling you, don't take this, don't take this, because they will be screaming. But some of them just feel that, look, nothing can stop me. I'm too good at this job. And this is how...
It's part of the abnormalities we are talking about. How can you be driving with your earpiece? If you are driving with your earpiece, how will you know if your engine is making noise, or if anybody is on, or if somebody is trying to show you a sign?
It's just terrible that this kind of unnecessary fatality has happened. Look at the innocent people that we have lost.
Yesterday I saw them burying
because of the carelessness and irresponsible behavior of a driver. You just caught, and you didn't lose your life.
Honestly.
You didn't lose your life. That's the painful thing. And you cause others to lose their lives. Look at the agony that people are going through, families.
I'm telling you.
And now you are apologizing for what you did on purpose. You knew that you didn't have to cross at that time. You knew that you had to wait. But you were too irresponsible that you didn't do the right thing. And now you cause people to lose their lives. You are now apologizing. I mean, nobody should listen to his apology. No, he has to pay for what he has done.
Master.
Yes, it is. It's rather unfortunate, and my heart goes out to the families of those that lost their lives. The accident was avoidable, totally avoidable, and I totally agree with what Jido is saying. And that brings us to our recruitment system. Our recruitment system, not just, as he said, not just the drivers.
Nobody near that area.
Yes. And those ones will die.
Nobody near that area will not sustain serious injury.
Because that's the point of impact.
Aluminium, iron.
That is the
fiber glass.
The point of contact, and what happened was that the train hit that bus at Ikeja, but he dragged it up to PWD. That was what happened. No, of course, train cannot stop. You forgot it.
They took it about 100 meters or so.
A train cannot hit you and
to
stop
because it doesn't have the capacity to stop.
Yes, the weight doesn't have the capacity to stop the train. So it hit the bus and drag it further. So in the course of that dragging and the rest of them, there's more fatality and the rest of them. And I also think that in the course of that,
the trauma that people are going through
in
when
the course of
taking
that,
them away.
Honestly,
yes, in the course of that, you also say,
some will try to jump out.
That is what I wanted to say.
Yes, some will try to
some want to jump out from the window because if you look at one of the videos, you will see a lady that was hanging. A lady was hanging by the window. She was already dead. So it is very, very idiotic of that man. And he was, after I apologized, if you also written the interview, he has been giving excuses.
There's a mechanical
fault. There's a mechanical fault. After he has already
no, he doesn't want to go to
yes, he doesn't want. He's not saying it's mechanical fault.
Didn't you see the policeman that killed the lawyer?
That is
Look how he did not even plead guilty.
So that is it. So
failure is something
we
else.
Are talking about we are talking about the bus driver. What about our policemen? It's not the same mentality. When somebody will carry a gun and out of nowhere decide to shoot somebody without any provocation. So those are the kind of this thing. But let us also, in the course of this, with so much sympathy, let us also say that accidents of this nature happen all over the world. Recently in Greece, there's a riot and protest going on in Greece where two trains, passenger trains,
derailed.
They didn't derail. They faced each other. They collided because of the negligence of a particular manager. I don't know what he did for him to have allowed to
traffic workers.
That is it.
So those
traffic workers. Yes, and that trade, and over 60 to 70 people have been confirmed dead now because of that. But look at the other angle to it. The Minister of Transportation resigned immediately. He resigned. He wasn't part. He wasn't the driver. He was not there. He resigned immediately. He said his conscience cannot allow him to continue, and that is the part of what we are talking about. You know, most often than not, you see people bringing human angle to some of this. We are not saying that anybody should resign.
Service.
But it is service. Yes, there is service.
So my service is no longer acceptable.
So that guy should not only be after the psychological, whatever they find written, whether it's psychological or not, because I don't think a normal human being can do what he did. After that, he should be tried and jailed. The same thing happened around Yanopaja a few days ago, where one idiotic downfall driver took one way, drove one way, and hit a Corolla car. And the man died, the Corolla owner died instantly, just 3 days ago in Lagos here.
For no fault of
his. The downfall guy took one way, faced the guy, hit his vehicle, the guy died instantly. Yanopaja here in Lagos. And when you see, that's why at times when I talk on social media, some people say, oh, CK, why are you talking about? When you see the government seizing vehicles flying one way and auctioning them, and some people come out to say, why would they auction that vehicle?
Yes.
This or this.
No,
These are
because
the
of people
it's because of the
politicizing.
It's not something to be politicized. You can't try that abroad.
We know Lagos at the point in time that people were passing one way on 3rd Milan.
Yes, of course.
Those days.
That is only those days. They need the governor.
I'm even against this idea of giving them back those
vehicles. It should be confiscated. I totally agree. It should be confiscated.
I've said it before on this program that I went to the UK and my driver was taking me and was from Somaliland. And I told him, because there was one vehicle that was just messing up in front of us, he wouldn't just give way for us to pass. So I told him to honk. He said, what did you just say? You want them to take my license? So over there, you can't use your horn anyhow.
You can't use it to single.
So he said, if I try it, this license that took me a long time to get is gone. So I can see that their society is only in matters of emergency, or maybe you are visiting a friend, his house is maybe on the 3rd, 4th floor. You can then use your car horn.
You don't hear there's ambulance.
You
And
cannot.
police.
You can. So
And
he
police
told me,
going
say,
on
I can't do
emergency.
it.
You
He said, I
can't
will
see
never.
anybody honking.
So we just left that. We were going to Oxford. He just left the guy. The guy was misbehaving. We could not talk. The impatience of the Lagosian in me was already pushing me to tell him to.
You did not
listen to me.
You not only pass, you wind down and see. This is normal.
So even before, even when the person is at fault, he will still abuse you.
Yes, he still abuse you.
So it is the way of this generation.
It's quite unfortunate.
All right. As the March 18 governorship and state house assembly election approach, most state governors are in the last-minute rush for votes for their parties. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has urged women in the state to save him from impeachment by voting for candidates of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. At a meeting with women from the 12 wards in Oredo local government area of the state, Governor Obaseki solicited the support for the PDP candidates to sustain reforms and policies of women empowerment by his administration. Julie, it has gotten to that time now. This extension has really given the governors opportunity to really reach out. And from the results, the presidential election results, we can understand the plight of Godwin Obaseki.
His apprehension.
He has lost control from the presidential and national assembly election. He has lost control of that state with that result. So he's trying to...
He has become extremely unpopular. And his party came third. Even APC, that is not in power, was second behind Labour. His party came third. He could not do anything about it. He was the first governor to raise alarm that the way young people are flocking to Peter Obi, that they will be in trouble. And
he is not in trouble.
Now he is the first, he is one of the victims. So Obaseki knows what he has done. A governor who would prefer to run a House of Assembly with less than 10 persons.
Yes.
Getting his bills approved.
And not swearing
by just about a quarter of the people should be in the House. That is the height of wickedness. And they made appeals to this man. He used the instrumentality of office to make sure that those guys have been kept jobless, sitting in their houses, doing nothing. Now, he's struggling to ensure that APC doesn't claim majority. In the House now. He will prefer any other party, maybe Labour, to take the majority. And if you see the performance of the APC in the National Assembly elections, they did very well. So there's a possibility that if their performance gets better in the House of Assembly elections,
they'll form majority.
Already they are very bitter. So that's why he's worried. And he's telling those women, oh, APC, stop APC, oh, they want to impeach me. Why are you not talking about Labour? It's APC that he's been talking about because he knows that he offended those people. They called this man, pleaded with him, he wouldn't listen. Use the court. Using the court and the paraphernalia of office to keep elected people. People elected, their constituencies have not been able to see the benefit of even electing them. I've never seen this level of wickedness in high places.
And he had the goodwill when he was re-elected into office. A lot of people, he had the popular
yes,
and
there were all the noise, Lagos, I don't know, be Lagos and all that. You know, sometimes our people vote based on emotions. Now they can see. Is one of the most unpopular governors in Nigeria today. Right. I say it and I repeat it.
Godwin Obaseki, yes.
Obaseki, and it does not even, sometimes he even behaves in a manner that even embarrasses those of us who are not his followers. When this cash crunch began, he was one of the governors who decided
to go and join the federal
government, saying that they should not even rescind that decision. How do you take steps against your own people? You can see that your people, some of the bloodiest riots happen in Edo State.
Anytime there's riots in Edo State,
you went against your own people.
There will be prison break. First thing.
You can't even think, these ones didn't, they were concerned about their pain. You can't think of how you can solidarize with your people. You went and sided with government. You turned this thing to politics. At the end of the day, I was reading the other day, was begging people to accept old Naira notes. By your actions, did you show that you wanted old Naira notes? Were you not the one saying that the people who are rioting, that most of them don't have money in those bank accounts? It's not even about those who don't have money in bank or who don't have bank accounts. There are Nigerians who do not, they don't need to have a bank account to suffer.
But that circulation, that money in circulation.
Because those who have it, if they cannot circulate, they can't use it.
Yes.
How do the people who don't have bank account, how do they survive? 18% of, only 18% of women in the whole of Jigawa State have bank accounts. But they deserve to survive.
If I wash my car now, 1,000 naira cash,
yes.
I'll give the car wash.
These days it's difficult to give people because you don't have it. Now it's even getting worse. Somebody wanted to collect 5,000, they told him to bring 2,700.
Is that not
total madness?
That's in
total madness in our country now. 2,700, and you cannot empathize with our people. A whole governor will come out and justify this pain, and now you are scared.
They've been thoroughly defeated at the Supreme Court.
Yes, now you are scared. Even a PDP governor, Tambuwal, is one of the governors supporting the El-Rufai and the rest. Yet, look at Okowa too, who was one of the first to make noise.
He got
his they dealt with him. They served him breakfast.
He got his report card.
They served him breakfast.
CKN, now these governors, if you tell them to jump, they will just ask you how high. It's not a matter of, you can go to any.
So they won't ask questions.
Yes, quite unfortunate with Governor Baseke. What he's facing now is self-inflicted. And I remember vividly how Edo people rallied around him when he had issue with Oshomole. When he wanted to come over.
Popular mandate.
A lot of people rallied around with him. When they shoved him out of APC, PDP accepted him into their fold, and Edo people followed him to PDP to be able to. But his problem is twofold. We are just talking about the election. Within the PDP itself, the PDP in Edo is divided.
Yes, he has refused to integrate them.
I will tell you, just a few days before the presidential election, there was a Supreme Court judgment that finally handed over the support of his faction to his candidate. You remember vividly. People have forgotten. Because it was the other faction, I think led by Obi, the national vice chairman, South, who that is in charge of that his own faction that was recognized up to the Court of Appeal. But a few days before the presidential election, the Supreme Court came out and handed over this thing to his. So, but the issue is now that the last election, presidential election that we had, Labour won in Edo State. In the senatorial election, APC won 2 senatorial seats. Labour Party won 1. PDP didn't win any.
Which says a lot.
So that in itself is a very, very big
That's never happened.
It has never happened. Then
the PDP will not win 1 seat.
Yes.
Out
and
of
this
the
was
somebody
that was told. There's this adage in Things Fall Apart, where Chinua Achebe said that the gods have benevolently crack their nuts to eat it with some kind of immunity. But the governor of Edo State doesn't seem to understand that. He believes that just getting power for the fun of it that is not. Power is about the people. No matter what, it's a give and take issue. You didn't elect yourself president, governor. Some people came around to be able to give you that. In terms of even having the capacity, in terms of financial and rest of the governor of Obaseki didn't have what it was to be governor of Edo State because he didn't even have the financial capacity. It was Oshomole that brought him from the private sector. I made him, I dropped him in his cabinet to be in charge of taxes and the rest of them, for that revenue. That was where he made, even when Oshomole was guy, I said, I don't want to use this guy. I said, some people fought against him. But today, we have barely 6 months.
He was the one that asked Oshomole to be taking permission before coming into Edo State.
So, but you now realize that how popular. In fact, there was one thing that happened that also touched me so much. There was a young man that had a building and a hotel somewhere in Benin. He went to demolish that place.
Tony Kabaka.
Yeah, I think that's his name. He went to demolish the place. The young man were crying. Oh, governor, please.
That's their own Oluomo.
Yes. He went. I think that guy was supporting Oshomole. He went and demolished the guy's house, the hotel or whatever, and said he doesn't care. But now it's payback time. So I don't know how many people he's going to appeal to. I don't know whether it's the obedient people he's going to talk to, whether it's going to be the faction of PDP in his state that is going to talk, or members of the APC that is going to talk.
The PDP faction in the state report to
that is his Wike.
And it's the same Wike.
So now the issue he's having is that, but I don't think he needs to worry himself, even if he loses. He still have how many months? He's not going with this. Is he going with this?
No.
He still have about 1 year. Maybe that is where the problem is coming from.
Control of the State House of Assembly.
The House of Assembly, believe that the House of Assembly, if later he might not be able to. If he could lose, a governor could lose 3 senatorial seats in his state, still lost the presidential election in his state, then you can see that
he's finished politically in this.
Because what that means is that even his own senatorial district, where he comes from, they didn't vote for him and his party. And that is a very big problem.
They've left him behind. They've left him behind.
Even the likes of Yisom Wike, they were at the forefront, campaigning for him. And at the end of the day, he went to go and show appreciation to Governor Wike. But along the line,
after they started abusing him, he was the one who said that if the party reversed, if the party made any effort to remove the chairman, just the way Wike demanded, that they would defect. So they had to slow down because they didn't want to lose some governors. So there's a lot that he has done that shows that he has no empathy for
Wike is not even apologizing to Oshomole that I didn't know that this is what I was doing.
Yes, these are people who fought for you. Now, I don't even get how a governor will insist on impunity, using just about 9 lawmakers to be running the assembly, getting your bills across. I mean, there are some of our governors who should go to jail once they've lost their immunity. Because this is impunity. This is impunity. 9 persons, you organized... what's it called? Election of speaker in the dead of night. And you sent invitation only to people that you wanted.
Want to be sworn.
Because you knew that if all of them were to be seated, a candidate lawyer to Oshomole will emerge, because Oshomole had more people. And then you accuse them of staying away from the... You know that some of those people even wore shorts because they were aroused from their sleep.
Yes.
So you come and do election. That's the way it is. But today is extremely unpopular in that state. And what has worsened matters for him is that position that he took to go and support the federal government when everyone could see that the policy of the federal government was inflicting pain on the people. It shows that you are soulless, that you are wicked. That's the way people are seeing it. That's the way people are saying that. Why should their governor not side with them during that difficult time? And people know all this. Kowa now that is suffering as a result, he should remember some of the comments that he made at that time. He should remember. Even Atiku, sensing that thing could work against him, he quickly changed his mind and started abusing the CBN, that their policies were affecting the poor. Yet, initially, he supported it, and his media people also followed suit.
All right. In what seems like a back-to-back popular TV series, Rivers State Governor Yisom Wike continues to take jabs at former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Governor Wike has mocked Atiku for leading chieftains of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, on a protest to the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Abuja, over outcome of the February 25 presidential election. The governor said he won the party over ceding of its presidential ticket and national chairmanship seats to the north. Jide, Wike at it again, and I listened to that long speech, and I was like, wow, this is like, it was like doing a kind of post-mortem of what happened during the election. And Atiku got his results because he kept saying that, look, it will make sure that he inflicts maximum damage, and Wike has done his worst in Nigeria.
Yes, you know, Wike has supporters in the PDP even beyond.
Yes, he had his structural parties, yes, across.
You know, the structures that he built purposely for the primary election.
Almost won that primary election.
They are still there, they are still being maintained. And I dare say if Tambo had not told the supporters to vote for Atiku,
if you check the figure,
Wike would have easily won.
Would have gone home with that.
Yes, Wike would have won the primary election because everything considered, Tambua could have come third, you know. But with somebody who could have come a close third, giving all his votes to another candidate in a close race, definitely that tipped the odds in the favor of Atiku, and Wike has not been happy since then. Now, having won a 3 senatorial seat in the state, he was boasting that he told his people that PDP should not come second. That if APC wins in any position, then Labour should come second. That if Labour takes any...
How he was able to spin it, I don't know.
That if Labour takes any seat, then the second position should go to APC. Now, he reminded them that, Atiku was going around protesting like a student union leader wearing black, but that they are accusing INEC of going against his own guidelines. He then reminded them that PDP also went against his constitution, because the constitution of the party stipulates that there shall be adherence to the zoning formula. I think sections 7 subsection 3C of the PDP constitution affirms that the party shall conduct its activities with respect to zoning. But zoning was brushed aside because Atiku badly wanted to contest, and they were not prepared to frustrate him because they felt if they did that, he would leave the party. Now he's happy and saying, look, this thing has gone to the south. That was all he wanted, that power rotation has happened. As far as he's concerned, power rotation has happened because the president-elect is from the south. And he said, no matter how you demonstrate, you have lost the election. You know, so there's nothing you can do. You have lost the election. You can demonstrate from now till tomorrow wearing black that you've lost the election. So he also reminded them that they didn't win a single G5 state. Yes, some of the G5 governors suffered setbacks, but the truth is also that Atiku did not win a single of those G5 states. You know, so
Benue to Enugu.
Yes, that is to tell you. That's to tell you that mistakes were made. If I were Atiku, I would have sacrificed Ayu. Because Ayu right now does not have the electoral value that those governors have.
What has he brought to the table that
nothing,
made the difference?
Absolutely nothing. And he just held on to power in a manner that has hurt the party badly. So you have to be pragmatic sometimes. You tell yourself, what do I win? What do I lose? How can you have a Wike with the war chest at his disposal, his determination, and you say that you rather stick with somebody who cannot? So at the end of the day, the party has lost the election. Now, no matter what.
CKN, I told you before we started the program that somebody made an allusion that in 2015, ACN, CPC came together to dislodge PDP from power. Coming together of this legacy party, where they were able to achieve it for the first time. Now, you want to dislodge 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari, you want to dislodge his party from power, and you feel that you can go it alone. First of all, Kwakwanso went up north. He chose his own NNPP. Look at the scores of NNPC. performance of a PDP member. Obi went to Labour Party, and the Labour Party swept the south and the east. And look at the mess Atiku is in today.
Yes, it was like lightning striking twice on the same spot. That was what happened. And I personally, I was shocked by the behavior of Atiku on this matter. He never behaved like a politician. I was shocked.
I think he had some assurances.
I don't know where his confidence level. I don't know where his confidence is. I don't know those that were advising him. Even if they were advising him, this was the man that started politics, that started participating in politics right from 1983. Atiku, people have forgotten that Atiku contested with Abiola.
1993.
1993. For the SD presidential. He was asked to step down. In fact, he was supposed to be this vice presidential candidate until late Yaradua spoke to him and said he should step down.
Then,
yes, he should step down. That was now King Gbe became the running mate to Abiola. So this is a man that has been in politics for very long and supposed to know the intrigues. I have no tears for Atiku. Because, as I said, you know what we are discussing also, I was saying that even with that just ordinary journalist that's not a politician, if such happens, diplomatically, I know how to handle such things. Guys, come, what is the matter? Let us solve about this.
The ruling party remains intact.
They
manage everything, the crisis they had internally.
Get the power.
The ruling party was still the ruling party.
Get the power first. Yep. Then you cannot do whatever you want to do. That is the normal, that's the sensible thing to do. But you were just behaving as if you are just, well, look at it. In 2015, 5 PDP governors left the party to join, those were the NMPP. You remember them?
New PDP.
New PDP. That's yes, the new PDP, the MPDP. Now, this same election, another 5 of your governors said, except you go this way. So they
didn't leave the party. They were inside the party to rock.
No. Very strategic. They were in the party. They didn't do, unlike the ones that left. These ones remain and ready to wreck.
They pulled the roof.
That you know the most dangerous enemy is the one in house. The enemy that you know or you know is
the enemy within.
The enemy within is the most dangerous. But that is on one side. But talking about Wike, personally, at times when Wike talk these days, I don't take him seriously, and for personal reasons. Because this is a man that talks from both sides of his mouth. Wike just came out and said that P2B is the hero of this election. The same hero talk that got Ayu in trouble. You remember? The same hero talk that got Ayu in trouble after the convention.
Let me tell you. You say waiting now. He said the truth. Always try to identify the truth in a statement.
Yes.
There is great value in the spoken word.
Yeah.
He said this power shift was made possible by Peter Obi.
Yes.
Is it not true?
Yes, it's true. But
if Peter Obi had been with Atiku, do you think Tinubu can defeat him? That's the point that he's making.
Yeah, but let me,
this is the man who made it happen.
See where I'm heading to.
Obi made it happen.
During this thing, Atiku came out and said, Wike is saying that power should shift to the south within PDP. That he was ready to step down.
Who?
Atiku said that he was ready to step down if that would be zoned to the southeast. The presidency, people have forgotten, he said that. This same Wike went to the southeast.
Why did they say that on the day of the primaries?
Did they relax? Calm down. This same, what's his name? This same Wike went to Oka, the state capital of Anambra State, where P2B was going to consent. I told them not to waste their votes on Wike. It's on tape. Google it here. Like, go to when he said so, he said they shouldn't waste their votes on P2B. That P2B is not going to, is going nowhere. That is the level to which he doesn't trust the capacity of people. So when he's coming now and say, that's why I say, we are journalists. When some of these people, politicians talk, we have to be very careful to take them by their word. But let us even move a bit further. The Labour Party in Rivers State are still having issue with we. You know now. They are still having issue with Wike on the election that was conducted 2 weeks ago. Although he has gotten the Labour Party chairman, the one that has been suspended, to his side.
But they will still vote for Labour.
But that is it. They will still vote for Labour. So what I am saying in essence is that most often than not, it is not. I don't like people whipping out sentiments, but the fact remains that the only thing I agree with him is that their own activity in action has cost Atiku dearly, and whether he likes it or not, that is the point.
Jide, do you think Governor Wike...
let me say something. Everything that Wike said is the truth. He knew that Obi cannot win the election.
That's why I wanted to ask you that.
This is a man that I sat with. I've said it on this program that interacting with him one-on-one, I know that he has a fantastic political brain. I don't say this flippantly. I don't see how many politicians have I come to eulogize their political brain. Wike said something to his colleagues. He said, let's not back anybody that is not likely to win. Because his own goal is to make sure Atiku doesn't get there. Because he had been told by someone that Atiku said he would jail him. Some things that Wike said in private, he's been forced to say it on the podium.
Yes, sir, he will say everything.
So that his people will do their best to save him. He said, do you want to vote for people who will jail me? He said, no. Do you want to vote for people who will kill me? The truth is, if Wike went for Peter Obi in Rivers, Peter Obi will get not less than maybe 80% or 85%. But overall, he knew that Peter Obi would still not win the election. Just the same way that a lot of us had talked about this. Not once, not twice. Because he won't get the vote from across the country that will enable him to win. Peter Obi is the Igbo version of Buhari of 2011. The pattern of their votes is extremely similar, except that Buhari won more states and got more votes. Because the area where he comes from, they have votes. So Buhari got about 2 times the votes that Obi got this time in 2011.
It's constant 12 million votes.
But he did, but he didn't get the spread. Peter Obi 6 million, Buhari about 12 million. But he didn't take Buhari anywhere because he didn't get...
Was concentrated.
You don't have to come first in the race. But if you come second, a close second...
Lucky second.
That will propel you there. He knew in his heart that majority of Rivers people will be it will be easier to sell Obi to Rivers people than any other person. He knew. That's why it was difficult for him to announce.
He moved against the tide.
Now, but in spite of that, Obi will still not win the election. He knew. He's a political fox, a calculating fellow. Everything that he said, if he said don't waste your votes, it's because he knew that he will not win. Because he does not have the knot. If Peter Obi had just a fraction of support from the core north, maybe just even 5 of those states, he would have been elected president. No doubt about it. You understand?
So let me come in. It wasn't after the convention. It was before the convention that he said this, not even after. Yes, now.
Don't forget that he and Peter Obi have had their issues.
Yes, he has been going. It was before the convention, when he was canvassing for vote for the convention, that he went to Oka and said, but let us put this straight. Irrespective of how calculative or how politically, whatever, I can tell you that even Peter Obi couldn't have predicted the result that Wike. There is no way in his greatest dream that he ever believed that Peter Obi would have made a kind of. There is no way Wike would have told you that Peter Obi will win in Abuja. It's not possible.
No,
I'm coming. I'm coming.
See, even me,
I'm coming.
I don't believe I'm better than Wike.
Yes.
But I predicted I will win Abuja.
There is no way he could.
Because the Igbo dominates the voting in Abuja. We analyzed it here.
Was it Nasarawa?
They've always won.
Wait. In Nasarawa,
PDP have always won.
It was on the politics.
Nasarawa. Who won Nasarawa?
Yes, he could win there.
Because of the spillover. And
I said this.
In Plateau,
satellite town.
In Plateau State.
Yes. he could have won one day.
Bet,
do you remember?
So,
you are now
yes.
you are now of the same age.
Yeah.
NPP, Zig's party,
yes.
formed government in Plateau in the 70s
Solomon
and 80s.
Solomon Land. Yes.
NPP.
Yes. Solomon Land.
There is a tremendous Igbo population in Plateau, especially in the metropolis. I've lived there, in the metropolis. And in those days, even when Rangers go to play in Plateau State, it would seem like Rangers were at home. They were hardly beaten. So you have to look at demographics. These people, where are they? Where are they?
And the
are
population.
They likely to do well
Christians.
here? What did we say? In fact, when I was analyzing Nasarawa State, I took PDP completely out of the equation in the presidential election. Go and check that in again. And I said, Labour Party will do very well, that they have the edge. Because those satellite towns, they dominate the population there.
As in predicted,
and
that
don't
the
also forget
might be in trouble.
That the governor will be in trouble. I also said it. Because there's a thick Christian population there. We won't deceive ourselves that this election, that the Muslim thing, did not cost APC in many of those states.
Those states that we're mentioning,
APC
with a sitting governor in Plateau State.
I knew that it would happen. I knew that it would
happen. And the Director General of the campaign.
Yes.
They don't want to know. They don't want to know. People are angry.
That's what I'm saying.
People are angry that you didn't choose our own people.
Yes.
You know, even Asiwaju has had to moderate. This time, he will not come out and say, I was looking for the best. Because to say that is to make Muslim Christians angrier. That, you are saying only the best can be found among the Muslims. No, it's not saying that.
And that even cost him Lagos too.
Of course.
Christian community.
Of course. There is a bigger population of Christians than Muslims. It's a fact.
They mobilized.
So the election, you know where I think that will be, where Obi shocked me in terms of his performance is actually Delta State. Delta, not because Igbos are not many there. He won in Urobo-dominated areas. So that's where you see that, yes, those young people are angry. This is the person that they prefer.
And Edo State.
And Edo State. This is the person that they prefer. Sapele is an Urobo town. The one with a very good margin in those. So those young people
swept to Kowa away.
Yes, those young people. That's where they wanted. So this election, he didn't want to support somebody that is not likely to win. That's why he took that risk. For me, I thought it would have been easier for him to sell the Labour Party candidate because of the tremendous Igbo population in Rivers. Even now, with the governorship coming, he knows that he has a big fight on his hands.
Yeah, he met with the Igbo community in
he knows he has a big fight.
Rivers State yesterday.
Big fight.
And I remember that he was telling them that anybody that tells them that he's anti-Igbo, that they should not listen to them. That was why he was talking about. He also spoke about P2B. But what I'm saying in essence is that most often than personally, that's my personal opinion, when it comes to politicians, I try as much as possible. The way is the Nigerian politician that Jide will tell you good morning.
I always try to pick something from.
He will tell you good morning. Ayo will leave the studio now, go outside and realize that it is 9 p.m. already. And this man is just telling you good morning. So most often than not, that is my own personal opinion.
Have you seen the video of the former chairman of ABGA?
No. The one that started, what's his name? Chekwas. It's not Chekwas.
No, the one who just won election in Obist constituency.
Okay, the one that just got a
Victor. Okay, come and see how he was abusing Obi. Maybe one day we'll play it here.
No, before now.
Yes.
Of course, now when that was the napkin.
Today now he needed Obi.
Yes.
And he's now the senator from Obi's constituency.
Yes. That was why he was saying that
he lost out against Ekwenife in the last election. He couldn't win that senatorial seat.
No.
But when he went to the
party, he was elected. He was in the Senate too.
And
he was removed.
The first one.
Yes, he was in the Senate.
Yes, he was removed.
Then it was taken away from him.
Now won the election proper.
Yes.
But this time around, based on the Obi wave, he's back there.
Yes.
But you needed to watch what he was saying about Peter Obi.
Yes,
the same Peter Obi that is gone to now. So politicians are dishonest.
That is what I'm saying.
A lot of them do not have honor, and they are too selfish. No doubt about it. We are saying the same thing on that. But even in even as part of the nonsense, from some of the nonsense that they say, you can actually psychoanalyze how they are thinking.
There's always a
sense
in every nonsense.
All right. With a few days to the governorship and state assembly elections, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun is wrapping up rehabilitation and construction of roads in Akute community of Ifo local government area of the state. The roads in the border communities between Ogun and Lagos states have been in deplorable condition. TVC News senior correspondent Sharon Ijason visited the area to see the level of work done on the roads and get the view of commuters and residents on the developments.
We are happy on the road. The construction is going, but the main thing is that bridge. If they do anything except that bridge, because I expected them as a construction company, they're supposed to start from the bridge. After they finish construction of the bridge, before they commence the road, on the road. But, well, we still believe that the governor and people that are involved will look on that road. That bridge, if rain start now, sorry, nobody will pass there and go to work. They use canoe, they use different means. They back people. Somebody will back, they will back you on the, and cross the road, which is very bad. So if whatever thing they want to do, they should. That bridge, very, very important, vital to the environment. If they do that bridge, I'm telling you, they don't need to campaign.
Because this community, we are so happy for this ongoing road construction in Akute. We are so happy and we're so glad. And since this will be the 9th year the house has been demolished, and we're happy that our governor and Dapo has come to our aid to help us out, and we're so glad because the road is so smooth now and we can move. All the transportation bus and the Okada Napep can move freely. What I want is one of the affected victims. That was 9 years ago when he came to demolish the house. That was 2003. That was 2013, sorry, 2013. I want the governor to come to our aid. Governor Ibikunle Amosu demolished the house and he promised to give the affected victim some money, which he has not done so. So I just want him to look into it and please come to those Baba's aid. So that's all I could say about that. And I'm happy about the road. We are so grateful.
Well, what I would say, it came late, but you see, this is what we expect from a true Democrat, you know. And this is what democracy is all about, giving people what they want. But another thing I want to advise, it should come at the right time. You understand? I know so many lives has been lost on this road due to, you know, the bad road. Are you getting me? It should come at the right time. We appreciate what the governor did. He has done what we expect of him, but we still want more. You should look at other places that are bad.
I think our producer should try and look for clips of the roads.
Those roads, not just because people talking.
For a long time, Nigeria has been on Dapo Abiodun's neck. Well, this Akute Alagbole axis, the road. I think the governor, yes, has listened finally, and they have.
This is the Alagbole, Alagbole.
That bridge.
That bridge.
That's that bridge.
It used to be very messy.
Yes, but he didn't. He wasn't the one that did this. But the other side, this is the other side.
Okay, this is
you know,
the
it's been
other side.
asphalted. Now, going all the way to the front of the market is asphalted. Then, from Akute bus stop, Elakpara Junction, he has now asphalted it close to the abattoir. Okay. Yes, you can see this is freshly asphalted, close to the abattoir in Denro. So people did this is new. This is new. This place was not motorable before.
And this area we are talking about, you know, is a densely populated area.
Yes.
That's for a long time they have nightmares in coming in and out of that area.
Around the Alakpara Junction, the point where they began the new road going to, you see, you can see that. Now, he's doing both sides of the road.
Both
this
sides.
one is going towards Olori. You know, and they are rushing the work. It's like people are asking, okay, what was he doing before now? Why?
Better late than never.
Well, I'm happy to see the man doing it, but the question will be asked, why?
No.
Why now?
It shouldn't be why again. Let's get this clear. First and foremost, I remember vividly how many times Governor Mosu came to your area and made promises on this. Yes. You remember vividly?
Yes, now.
Yes, because we were on this several times, and Jide was on it. In fact, I'm very happy to a lot of our colleagues. Apart from Jide, Festus Akombi, with this date, the business.
Bamidele Johnson.
Yes, Bamidele Johnson. Even Mojid.
Even ran away from it.
Yes.
Mojid ran away. Bamidele Johnson ran away.
Mojid. Azuariz. These are people that I know consistent and saying this and consistent in every. In fact, it got to a point that it was almost leading to them saying whether we start cursing this government or I said, but good enough. I'm so happy with what I'm seeing. But the question is, why is it that always when it comes to
the bridge now?
See that's the bridge.
See, this is the bridge.
This
is not for going to Arifanla. Now they are going to asphalt both sides and leave the bridge.
Okay.
So people can. You don't even need a bridge in that area. It's just bloody waste of money. Now it's going to asphalt this right up to Arifanla Junction, and then they may take it from there, heading towards Olori. So people are happy because this when it rains. Oh my God! You can only imagine.
Before we started the program, we said something.
Yes.
The dividend of democracy, people must get it.
That is it.
When people know that, look. When it is 4 years, we come to ask questions.
Yes.
Now you can't fix beavers. You can't fix election again.
It's difficult to rig again.
So that means you must sit tight.
You know why? You know what might be my happiness with it? The value of houses in this area will skyrocket.
Yes, yes, it's good
yes.
for
It will be, yes. That is it. That is it. And I also, without doing any PR for this governor, when it comes to roads, sincerely, I
it does quality roads.
Go and see what it did between that
even the Shagam to Abeokuta. Oh my God! If you are not careful, you kill yourself. Yes. You know, because both sides of the road excellent.
It reminds me of what Benga Daniel did, especially between the express, Lagos-Ibadan Express to Abeokuta. When he finished that road, going to Abeokuta was just taking just about 45 minutes. Yes. What I can only but ask him also,
this governor.
We need to talk, guys, we also need to talk about Ota. The road leading to Ota is so terrible.
It's terrible.
From that toll gate area.
Before the toll gate, if you start from
they've abandoned everybody in that.
From Ahmadiyya towards
this
all
one now, this Alagbole, the governor did one part. So we will enjoy driving on one part. When you get to the terminal point of the bridge, this side on the right is excellent. The other side, they didn't do it. They do not have so much money. So it's like you enjoy a ride on one lane.
It's good to enjoy.
This place will become so messy.
It's good to enjoy.
Yes, when it rains.
It's good to enjoy 50% of good road. And bad on that, enjoying 100%. You know why I talk about Ota? This governor wants to start the job on that road.
Yes.
But the federal government said he must not touch it. Go and check it.
You know, President Buhari was saying that they should not.
Yes, there was a statement from the Federal Ministry of Works that
leave my road.
Leave my road, and that road is so terrible. You need to go.
You refuse to fix your road, and you are saying they should not touch it.
You said people shouldn't do it.
I'm sure when we call BRF will tell us about that road.
We need to look at
that road. Ota road is terrible.
Ota road, toll gate area and everything.
And when the governor came, they were cursing him. People were cursing him. You know. But the thing is a federal road.
It's a federal road.
Now, there's always a problem between governors and federal authorities. The federal authorities will claim that the bills are usually inflated when they fix roads for them. President Buhari tried by even settling the bills for those roads that were constructed. You know, Wike got so much money from federal roads.
Even when he was at loggerhead with the federal government. He got
they paid him. The government made sure that they paid him. They didn't think of politics. They paid him and they got so much billions there, you know. Bayelsa, the same thing. They had to refund them. So, but Buhari's concern, President Buhari's concern is that the bills are usually high.
Inflated.
Yes, according to inflated. Yeah. So he doesn't want them to continue, fixing those roads. You say, leave my roads. In fact, I remember when I said, why are you calling them your road? They are not your road. At that time, if you remember the program that we had. So don't personalize governance. It's difficult for states to look at a road in a bad state and not want to do anything about it. Look at the road connecting Jalingo with Yola. You can see the governor, even the dual carriageway from the junction, from the entry point into Yola, the governor has fixed it. It is a federal road. He has put dual carriageway there, and it looks very good. Any governor who is serious, he knows that at the end, the people really don't understand the difference. He will want to fix
his own part.
Yes, a lot of those roads, trunk A roads, I mean, they belong to federal government, but we can't leave them in a terrible state. We still have to try our best.
Yes, it's just like the one that, if I get road from my place, my village, the road leading from Owerri to Umuahia, passing to Obowo, where I come from Owerri, through to Mbise, Obowo to Umuahia, that road is also terrible. And it's a federal government road.
Tell the minister.
So I'm telling Minister, Oga Minister, if you are watching, please, let us, now they have done today's one, please let either my governor, before they wrap up, whether my governor.
Do you know how many documentaries they did?
Maybe I'll start doing documentary.
Maybe
I'll start doing documentary on Obowo Road, so that they can also be able to help us.
In fact, I pity the people living in this area. There's a place called Olambe. Okay. The people on their own, they compacted the road.
Yes, we ran that road.
We ran it, and all they needed was just a little help from government. We didn't hear anything. And two documentaries, nothing. But now the elections have come, and we are seeing this determination to fix everything. There is an hotel in Akute called 4 Gates. These 4 Gates is the usual rendezvous point for young Oloshos and the rest of them. There was a big gully in front of the place. Wow. The man has spent money, the owner of the hotel. In fact, he fixed the canal beside it so that water can move freely. He fixed that road. Sometimes we'll bring poor hardcore. The people will be driving on top of hardcore. But now, if you sit down, in fact, you can run 100 meters, 100 kilometers per hour. People can't believe, but
the dividend of democracy.
We can only hope that elections happen every week.
Nigerians don't ask for too much.
No.
Our
standards are not even high. We are easy to please.
People to please. Nigerians are too easy to please. We are not asking for too much. Give us roads, give us light, give us water, electricity, school. Finish.
They are waiting for 4 years to serve you breakfast.
Of course.
But they've seen the difference now.
Yes. All right. It's still Journalist Hangout. On Sunday, we'll take this break. When we return, we'll talk more.
In the month of March, on the 3rd is World Wildlife Day. On March the 8th is a day set aside as International Women's Day. March 13th is Commonwealth Day. And March 21st is the day dedicated to the elimination of racial discrimination, and also World Down Syndrome Day. World Water Day is on the 22nd. And March 24th is World Tuberculosis Day. While March 25th is International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery. Finally, on the 28th of March, it's 1-year remembrance of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack. Brace yourself for an interesting March, only on TVC.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
It's Journalist Hangout. On Sunday, there are still raging reactions to the conduct and the outcome of the February 25th presidential election in Nigeria. in the wake of this, Justice Emeka Witi of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has told the presidential candidates of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is empowered by law to determine the mode, collation and transmitting election results. In a suit filed by the Nigerian Labour Party against INEC for manual collation of results, Justice Witi ruled that collating and transmitting results manually in the 2023 general election cannot be said to be contrary to the relevant provisions of the Electoral Act 2022. Jide, would this be the key to the failure of INEC in the presidential election? As in, will this vindicate INEC? For, INEC said they have in their guideline that the result will be uploaded and transmitted to the IREV. Would this court, what the court has just said, would this in any way let INEC off the hook?
Of course, remember the sessions of the House of Reps and the Senate, when they were drafting this Electoral Act, were very noisy, very rowdy. One thing that those opposed to transmission of results were able to insert into the law, the Electoral Act, was the permission to INEC to use any mode that it deems fit. So they permitted both manual and electronic transmission of results. The law, section 28 of the guidelines, permitted both. So by not using the IREF, yes, you could say they went against their guidelines, but the guidelines, the use of the IREF is not in the Electoral Act. And where there is conflict between guidelines and an act, the act takes preeminence over the guidelines. Just like the Constitution supersedes any act. So the fact that the law permits them to use any mode that they deem fit, the fact that the law permits both manual and electronic transmission is something that is crucial. That is why people like the INEC chairman do not think that they've done anything wrong. And in any case, what are we even talking about? The transmission of results to the viewing portal is, as at Friday, was more than 95% done. Which means if you saw any result on that viewing portal, the public viewing portal, which is the IREF, that is against the results that you got from a polling unit are submitted to you by your party agent, you have a chance now to begin to document all of the places where you have the conflicting the conflicting discrepancies and all that. That's the essence of the thing. So that those going to court can arm themselves with that evidence. The most important source of valid election result is the Form EC8A. And the Form EC8A is manually collated, and that is permitted by law. That's what is known to law. I've told people, transmission, many people have tried to diminish this election despite the gains that we made in this election because of that non-transmission real time. But no one can deny the fact that this election has taught us so many lessons. If elections were to be rigged by the governors in power with all the resources at their disposal, I look at the East, they won't allow Obi to even take one of those states in the East. If it was before, when they would simply go and write this, or they would summon the coalition. You remember, they used to rig election from local government coalition centers. Did anybody talk about local government coalition centers this time? Because of electronic transmission. INEC has been transmitting electronically even before the IREF. And the law permits them to transmit even offline, so that when you get to the where there is a network, you can then upload. Upload. So they can transmit offline. That is permitted. So I think in the fullness of time, all of those results, maybe in the next 2-3 days, all of those results will have been fully uploaded, and people can check and confirm whether rigging are taking place in those places or not. Nigerians wanted to be able to check this thing real time, but they claim that there were glitches, and of course, some people have been saying that there were attempts at the INEC portal, which scared INEC, and so INEC slowed down and waited for the results to have been fully announced before they began to upload. Because even the collation, the job that the chief collating officer, which is Mahmoud Yakubu, his own job, there is no reason he should wait for transmission of results to IREF. There's no law that says he must wait until that's fully transmitted before he starts his own collation. I have people saying no, that he should stop the exercise. There's no such thing. We all want an improvement in our electoral process. Beavers, in my view, after achieving 85% functionality, Beavers has been the difference maker. In the days when we didn't have Beavers, people will line up, collect incident form. They are not even from the state. And they will go and vote. Dogs will vote, all kinds of people will vote. But now, your facials will be checked, your thumb prints will be checked. Beavers have sanitized the system. You can see the votes are coming down. Those who used to give us 1 million plus. I'll give the example of, even me, I was looking forward to the vote from Borno State. But you saw what came from Borno, just about 250,000. I was shocked. Whereas the highest vote that any governor was given in 2019, over 1 million, came from Borno State. Well, I can tell you now that with Beavers in place, Beavers is the single most important tool for credible elections in our country. The second, what IREF does is to provide a layer of transparency, so that if they change results, people can easily know.
Second, Nigerians are, that day, since INEC went out of their way to tell us that they are going to transmit results electronically, and a lot of people took it that, okay, they were going to wait and watch. And that portal is only 2 million people that can access that portal at a given time. So at the end of the day, that thing did not turn up. Now, it's now a subject of litigation.
Yes, it is. Ayo, what we have before us, in law, we always talk about morality and law. There's a difference between morality and law.
What is legally right might not be morally.
Exactly. The issue before us is morality and law. INEC has the right to determine what mode, manner, when, where, and how election we hold. It was in their power. And there's nobody that's going to challenge that. If INEC decide that presidential election is going to hold today, it will hold today. They've been given that power. Let me take you back. We have similar things that just happened with the central bank. It's the same law. The central bank, that law established the Central Bank Act, also gave it that power to determine when to change a currency, to print, to design, and when to release. That power has been embedded in the Act, established CBN Act. But despite that, some people went to the Supreme Court to challenge that power of the CBN on certain issues, time frame.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? They went to challenge. The law have already given CBN. In law, there's no law that is cast. The law has given CBN that you cannot challenge. Is a law that. But they went to court, and you could see that they were not challenging the power of CBN to print, release of those notes. The only thing they were saying that the time frame given is giving our people problem. When you look at this morally, is it morally right that you are telling me that somebody that is from my state in Kaduna will have 10,000 naira in the bank? He will go to the bank, he will not be able to pay. It's going to put a lot of pressure. Not only pressure on me, it could also cause some high level of insecurity in my state. So you as the governor has the right now to protect the people that you are. The same thing with AY. Before this election, the INEC chairman severally told Nigerians, point blank, that we have everything to conduct this election, and in real time, this result will be coming in and will be sent directly to the portal for everybody to see. Now, people has now started, when you start having that issue and start giving people that. So, question, first and foremost, the question that was asked, how come that you were able to transmit, is the same Beaver, you were able to transmit that of the Senate. You were able to transmit that of House of Representatives. When you go to the presidential, you're having issues. There could be reason for that. It is for INEC to be able to stop. But now that brings a kind of morality question, and that is where people start looking at the integrity of the system. I tell you that if the INEC have gotten that, this would have been the freest and best election we ever had in Nigeria. Even, I would say even since 1960. Possibly. There's also, if you look at what happened in some of the states where we had this election, Osun, Ekiti, right? Is it Ekiti or Ondo? Ekiti, Medo, and some other states, you could see that the beavers work perfectly well. Although there is an issue with that of Osun, where we had issue of overvoting, but that has been determined by the tribunal and the court of appeal. It's going to the Supreme Court. The issue now is that did INEC do what is right? And that is where the issue. And that is why we're having this kind of dispute going on here and there now, where people, even the political parties themselves, and let me also tell this, INEC also had serious issue. The greatest part of the problem with INEC is communication. When this issue started, INEC, I personally had expected the INEC chairman could have come and tell Nigerians, we are having issues with transmitting of this. This thing was going for hours, everybody, all the report, even all the TVC, even TVC that went to most of the polling unit was able to reply that people are complaining that irrespective we had logistic issues, coming, the INEC officials not coming early, transportation and the rest of them. When he became, I expected the INEC chairman to have addressed that issue. The day he opened the collation center, the first thing I expected him to have said, and he would have communicated to Nigerians to be able to remove any doubt from any Nigeria or of the political party. We have agreed that we have issue with the beavers and the transmission of some of these, but we're working. It was not until after that they established. So that is where the issue is. Whether the court is going to, now the court has given everyone. It has given the Labour Party, it has given the APC, it has given the PDP the right to go and look at what has been done. And I think we should be able to wait for some of these things to get. But for me, whether INEC has the right or he has the right to determine it. But if left to me, if I have to score this election, I will say that INEC performed woefully. That's my personal opinion. He could have gotten it right, and Professor Mahmoud would have written his video for the failure of that system. Yes, it's the system. That is my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion.
Do you agree with Sikia?
Well, of course not. Transmission, electronic transmission is just one phase of the whole process. And the way this election went, the surprises that we saw. 20 governors lost their states out of 36 governors. I mean, this is not, it's unusual now.
Governorship election is coming now. Used to be. People are jittery.
We know, of course, they are jittery because they know the beavers will not permit rigging like before. I've seen a governor, I was with a governor, he was advising his people, he said, you better go and work hard. You know, this thing can be manipulated like before God and man. In the past, I won't hear a governor saying that. He will wait until it's over and he will do his magic.
Some will go and write
But
in
they
hotel
know.
rooms.
And
Those days.
they will have from ECA of their own.
Yes.
Individual contestants will be filling forms and then waiting. When they fill it, because they have the original from ECA, at the level of the local government coalition, they swap it, give INEC their own, they will take. So, you see why I cannot agree that it's a woeful election. At the end of the day, all of those results, the only thing INEC did that did not meet expectations was that people could not access
that portal.
Yes, and they did not send results real time from the polling units. But the important thing is that result. It is still the result generated at those polling units that are being put there now.
But some people that the election did not favor are saying that their inability to access that portal at that time, that something might have happened.
How?
Something might have gone wrong.
No, that is why if you listen to me earlier, I said now, that's the essence of the court. Now, if a result that has been uploaded is against what came from your polling center, that your agent delivered. Remember when Dino was making that noise? The INEC chairman said, where is the result? Obviously, it didn't have any result on him. Now, all those results are being uploaded still. People can check to see whether they've been substituted, to see whether overvoting has happened, to see whether they have changed those results. When they can establish, because it's the same result that they didn't post earlier, that has been put there now. So people can check to see whether any changes have happened. We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. The matter of electronic transmission real time, because it didn't happen, does not take away the fact that this election was credible to the point that 20 governors lost their state. APC alone lost 12 states. Was it happening before? That's to send a clear signal that, look, this is an election that is different from previous ones. But to simply dismiss it because of the matter of transmission and rate it woeful?
No, it's not just about Jide. It's not just about transmission.
Let's
talk. What makes the totality of an election is just not transmission. It's not just the result. It's a process. Ask yourself. Yes,
apart from the non-transmission. What did you see?
Jide, people voted till 9, 10, 1 a.m. That is not the first time in Nigeria. But
of course,
I'm saying that. But the number, the rate through which people went through, in terms of logistics, they didn't get it right. Let us be very factual.
No, of course, logistic failure was there.
That is part of what I'm saying. When I said, I'm not talking about just transmission. Transmission is just one out of the problem I'm talking about. I say even in the area of logistics, you could see that so many people, for the first time, people were you were at, I was watching you. You were in Adamawa. Yes. And I saw how you left. I was watching you live. I saw how you left a room. Which one was that? Where there was no light.
Yes.
Is it not true? Where there was no generator. Then from there, we switched to somebody, another, still on TV, so I was watching. They switched to another, I think it was Enugu, one of us, to, was it the something square in Enugu or something. The guy there, one of the guys, they also said this. What I'm saying is that when you look at how much was budgeted for this election and what came out, let us not continue to say this is we got it right, we got it right. You know why? When we continue saying that, those that are supposed to have done what they ought to do, we relax and feel they've done the best of the job.
In some ways, we got it right.
To some extent, I'm not disputing the fact. I'm not dismissing the fact that I didn't say that it's a total. But what I'm saying is that it's below expectation. Because probably if we've not had those...
There's no election that we've had that's not below expectation.
Maybe if we have not noticed what happened in
Abuja, for example.
No, if we have... Jide, let me tell you, it is much easier. When you don't chop jollof rice, correct jollof rice, somebody can't give you the one we no taste again. Because your taste don't go up.
You see, no, but it's getting better.
You know,
see, let me tell you something, because I like to rely on data on some of these things. Yeah. In 2015, we achieved 56% use of the card reader. And that election produced the wish of Nigerians.
Okay.
And the INEC one was praised repeatedly. By 2019, it had come down to 19% use of the card reader.
Good.
Everybody has seen that, oh, this card reader will not let us win election. No.
Yes.
In sync with INEC staff, they were bypassing it.
Okay.
Then INEC got the law amended to ensure that you cannot bypass the beavers. And when you do not bypass the beavers, that is the result that we had. All of those governors that lost, 20 governors losing their state, 7 governors failing to go to the Senate. One of them even lost to his former aide. These things will not have happened. A governor will not allow himself to be embarrassed. Now, that points to the fact that there's something called redeeming feature. There's no man created by God that is totally bad. In this election, there were things that showed clearly that the election, we are beginning to get to the point that we want. Those kneeling down, begging voters, it's because they know they are in trouble. In the past, they would not do that. When they could easily look, when they could easily change this thing. I said even the off-season election of 2019, Bayelsa and Kogi, we achieved only 16% use of the card reader. Many places it was ignored. Now you must use beavers. If you don't use beavers, they cancel the election.
That's why
nothing like
87 million.
That is why I was
that collected PVC.
How many people voted? No, how many? No, let us even look at it. Let us even look at it. In as much as we're looking at overvoting and the number of. Now look at this election. About 87 million people collected their PVC to vote. I've not seen the final analysis. Probably after the gubernatorial election and House of Assembly, we'll be able to know the percentage of people that voted. There was so much.
It's not
25, 26
people are hungry. People are hungry. Say, no, just stay away. When you don't make cash available for people, there is no fuel. A lot of them stay away.
We have discussed this in the past and said that this will even make people to come out to vote.
No, that's not.
Okay. There have been instances where they say that people get so annoyed with what happened, they come out and vote.
No, many people stayed away because they could not afford to trek. They don't even have food to eat. Do you know that even pure water, people couldn't find money to buy pure water? They couldn't find money to buy. People are going through a lot. In Kaduna, do you know why it was so easy to defeat the APC? Their own supporters were so angry against the party that they stayed away. Now, they are going back to beg them that, look, we have won this case in Supreme Court. This thing will get better. Come out and vote. So, many reasons account for low turnout. Another thing is the logistical nightmare that people faced.
I said that.
You've been on the queue for 3 hours.
I said it earlier on too.
Didn't come.
That is part of the electoral process.
Some people went away and never came back.
Of course.
It happened a lot.
Of course.
How can you have in Abuja, in the city, this on the road to the airport, they were sending me a message on election day. 11:30, they had not even brought materials in the federal capital. It's not even in the hinterland.
So we say that INEC did well.
In Lagos, for example, they wanted to use Oluomo's people and all that.
And the issues.
Some people went to court.
So
when they went to court, they had alternative at the last minute because that case was decided late. That contributed to logistic problems here. You know? So, but for me, coming out to say this is the worst election, this same election where 20 governors lost, no, that's not how I assess things. And I don't use emotions to assess things. I look at data, we have never had a situation in which people who had power, powerful people, you look at a governor like El-Rufai, he's one of the most powerful governors in our country. But he lost Kaduna by wide margin. You now see that and see this election is a lie.
They don't use the presidential.
I disagree.
That dynamics may change in the governorship election.
So what?
Let us not use that.
The beavers
No. Let us not. You'll be.
As long as the beavers
put it down here. And that the dynamics of that election will change.
No two elections are the same.
Yes, the dynamics will change on Saturday. So I'm not using it. But what I'm saying is that I will not sit down here and give INEC a pass mark. INEC disappointed a lot of Nigerians. INEC disappointed a lot of Nigerians, and that is why we are having this kind of this thing.
Pass mark now. Nobody is asking you to give pass mark.
I can't.
Now the thing is, but to come and for people to say it's the worst.
No, I didn't say it's the worst.
No, I didn't. You've been hearing people say it's the worst.
Those are people, of course. People will always say. People will always, of course, people have their.
They posted stuff on IREF.
Yeah.
Anybody who feels that, the result from his polling unit A, this was what we scored. I have the result. Check what has been posted against what you have. That is the beginning of checking whether what has been posted is even passes the test of validity. So from that point, we can then decide that, so a lot of what they posted is rigged, this thing. Then I've also told people, in the Lagos area and Rivers, there are complaints about the way the election went. People intimidated, people harassed and all that, and other problems. But to make it look like that is the way it is across our countries, to be dishonest. Because we know that largely, some of those problems, people intimidated, maybe afraid that they will lose, beating up people. It didn't happen in many places. It was largely peaceful. But INEC should have done better in terms of
in my village,
logistics.
In my village, Umungobo in Imo State, we had 3 police stations. Transmission of results was a problem. I'm talking of my village now, and I'm giving you that of House of Reps, Senate was transmitted. When it goes to the presidential, they waited till about 10 minutes, and they started let them move to the REC or RAC or whatever they are listening. And that is what I'm talking about. It was trust. That is what the people. So people will always transmit.
They posted. You see, INEC will also be foolish
if they have
to wait until maybe their portal is attacked or something. I don't know what exactly happened, but
they should come and clean out Nigerians.
They said they had glitches. They said they had glitches. People don't want to hear. They said they had glitches. Now those things have been posted. Everybody can see it now.
It will be determined at the tribunal. I don't think that
people can see it. No, you as an individual from your polling station, you know what you
Yes, of course, I know that.
You can check it against what has been posted.
They say some people were trying to collate the result.
And
they have their own collations.
And they saw
the margin.
That thing happens a lot. We've seen some online outfits trying to do some polling.
Yes.
Who will win? Once it goes against their own favored listing, they will shut down the site. This one, it was one ACN of Labour Party. I've been reading about him. He's one of their techie guys, brilliant tech guys. They have a lot of them. And they started an alternative IREF of their own and started posting, doing individual collation, electronic collation of their own, based on the results on INEC portal. The moment they saw that Tinubu was ahead, they stopped. In fact, they shut down, because it will now negate the fight that they are into. The thing is, yes, the transmission, if you ask me, I would have loved to see it. We were praising them when they were doing the off-season.
That is what I said. Now, most of those other states.
Now somebody, I've read what the National Computer Society of Nigeria said, that even INEC, what was budgeted for this whole process was not enough. Very few Nigerians will know that. And that they probably didn't do a stress test, because where they were using it before was for off-season election. We are now talking about 200 million Nigerians, So he said all of those things. That's the head of the Nigerian Computer Society, and that they wanted to help INEC, but INEC was not forthcoming. So there could have been some problems that we didn't see. But it's for them, as he said, to come out to say, this is in detail, but they were just telling us glitches.
Glitches and
all right.
But
as I went down, electronic transmission of results is just one phase of the process. The most important is the form was on Form EC8A, and that is what is even transmitted.
Hard copy.
So if at the end of the day,
we also saw some of those being changed. Some of those figures being changed. On those,
mutilated.
you saw that mutilated.
You
saw it.
Now we will look at the. You see,
there were some of them being mutilated.
These things, how many in the final analysis do we have?
Enough to alter?
Are they enough to say? Because I was telling someone, I said, even if you say so much about what happened in Lagos, some of what happened in Lagos, I personally are opposite. You said a lot about what happened in Rivers. If you take all the votes that Asiwaju scored in the whole of the Southwest, and all that is scored in Rivers away, he will still win the election by over 1 million. Yes. It will still be on 7 million. Atiku is on 6 million. Take away all those votes. It still won't stop him from winning.
All right.
Atiku is on 6 million. And Asiwaju is on 8 million. So how many votes did he get in the whole of? There is nowhere in the Southwest where Asiwaju got up to 72%. Even in Ondo, just I think 67 or 60 something. So it's not the kind of percentage votes that he got was not up to what Obi was getting in
97, 95,
yes.
93.
So even if we take away all of what he got in the Southwest,
the US was 87.
Ayo,
not Southeast.
If you see, when we are talking about things that shouldn't have happened in the election, it is not across the country that those things happened. It's just some areas. And those who are even complaining have not seen anybody, for example, say, oh, in Borno, in Yobe, in all of these places, they are Nigerians as well. And they are entitled to the votes that they gave their candidates. So if you take away all of what is called in the Southwest, take away what is called in the rivers, where I admit that there had been so much complaint, it will still win the election.
All right. And finally, amidst the worsening cash crunch across Nigeria, Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State has vowed to arrest and prosecute those rejecting old Naira notes. Governor Bello said rejecting the old Naira notes is a clear disobedience to the Supreme Court order, which he said will be vehemently resisted. He added that banks that refuse to accept old Naira deposits will have their premises sealed, as the state government will not tolerate financial institutions that willfully disobey court orders. Meanwhile, traders appear to be in the worst hit by the crisis. Here is a video that has now gone viral with a seller describing the effect of the crisis on business.
This is the Dioro market, Mushi. All these plantain, they are for sales. But just take a look at everything. Just because of shortage of cash. Because of shortage of cash, everything are rotten, spoiled. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. We don't know whom to blame now. I just believe Nigeria will survive all this. It's just too bad that these people cannot make sales from their market. No cash to buy. And everything is getting rotten. So it's just unfortunate. We can all see it. Too bad. Everything.
Sikian, it's a week after the judgment of the Supreme Court. We waited for this judgment. The case was instituted, and I remember the program you attended 2 weeks ago, and you said, look, let's not be in a hurry, that the Supreme Court will take their time and they will talk. And when they talk, I expected that thing happened around 4 p.m. on Friday, that day, the judgment. So I expected, okay, let's just the weekend latitude. By Monday, things will start moving. Lo and behold, I thought by Monday the Attorney General will come out categorically to say, yes, we are going to abide with the judgment of the highest court in the land, or President Muhammadu Buhari himself, or the CBN governor coming to say, according to what the CBN, the Supreme Court has just directed, that this is what we are going to do, this is how we are going to roll out this currency and everything. So by now, everything would have subsided. 1 week after, nobody has said pin.
Why? If you remember vividly on that program, I said something. And I asked that question. If that judgment is given and the president decides not to abide by it, what will happen? Remember what we said?
You as a lawyer, you should know that that's a dangerous precedent.
And I said it. I said it that day. I said, supposing the president, because there have been precedents, and I gave several precedents. I spoke about the issue of Dasuki. I spoke issue of Ezazaki, and so many others that have gone that way. This thing wouldn't be so heated as it were, until the president came out specifically to say, I gave that directive, and that this only 200, since the president said that the old 200 remains a legal tender. That is why anywhere you go to the GD, people accept 200 from you.
It's 200, yes.
You remember vividly.
200.
It was not being accepted before until the president came out to make that statement. If you're in church, they accept you. Boss anywhere. But take that old 500 and 1,000 and give them. Nobody is accepted, irrespective of whatever anybody says. And when the governor said that he's going to arrest, I was asking, how many people will you arrest? Because those that are supposed to do the needful have not done it. The central bank has not come out to make any categorical statement. There was a statement that came out initially where some people said that the central bank has directed the banks to start accepting those money. Within 3 hours, central bank came back to say, we never gave that directive. And it has remained so. It's not that the banks are not ready to, but they were waiting. Till today, the central bank has not come out categorically to say, based on the Supreme Court judgment, now banks, please, let's obey this. Or you expect also the AGF that decided to go and defend the federal government against the governors on this matter. He has not come out to say anything. The same president that made a pronouncement, that made a broadcast on the issue, has not come out to, which means that what they are doing is that, as far as the central bank is concerned, it's none of their business. And we are just talking off camera now, how the experience I had yesterday with just a carpenter who did a job for you for a certain amount. You say you don't have cash. He says he's ready to collect half of that amount if you can give him cash. And it has been some days back, I wanted to collect some money, and somebody was telling you that he's collecting 800 naira for 2,000 naira. 800 naira for 2,000 naira. Some places you go to, you want to collect 10,000 naira, they'll be charging you 7,000 or 4,000 or 5,000. And then even the SME are completely dead. The woman that is selling tomatoes, the one that is selling fish, the one that you've seen, the one that we are looking at the plantain now, and so many other businesses. You say do transfer. Is it the transfer that you've done several times that I've done that's declined and they've debited me? If I put out in my pocket now, bring out the number of declined this thing that I have. Even hotels, big time hotels. So when we're asking ourselves, how long will this? So I don't know. It is quite unfortunate. I don't even know what to do or what to say.
Let me take your first reaction to this, because Nigerians are so resilient and they're so, I don't know how to.
That's why our leaders take us for granted.
Because in all this, the hardship people are going through, and people are still quiet.
Yeah, they've not taken the law into their hands. Elsewhere, people will have begun misbehaving over all of the nonsense going on. After all, President Gafar Nemeri of Sudan was removed because he increased price of bread.
Bread alone, just bread.
You know, bread caused the French Revolution. Bread. But look at how people are suffering. You put money in the bank. I said something before that somebody attacked me on social media. A lot of the people that we engage on social media, they don't even know their left from their right. And they cannot argue constructively. They are not fact-based people. Everyone just thinks he has an opinion on anything, things that they are not even educationally qualified to talk about. He said that, why did I say that that people will lose faith in the banks? All they wanted at that time was, okay, let them take this money away, as long as it stops an individual from winning an election. Who told you it will stop the individual from winning the election? Are you God? People, those who are pressing the president at that time, some of them in the corners of their houses now, they are regretting because they too are suffering it. But at that time, they thought, oh, let's suffer it for some time, as long as it doesn't stop an individual from winning.
Do you think this news is no longer in circulation? No, I don't know.
No, let me tell you, my account officer told me that for the past 3 weeks, that they've not brought a single new note to their branch.
Yeah.
See, there's a lot that is going on that Nigerians deserve to know. Our people, our leaders are not accountable. I said something the other day that if it were a different country, knowing that this is a crisis, the CBN governor will be briefing us
on a daily basis,
on the level of injection. What have you injected into the system? There's nothing. Nobody is asking many questions.
I was giving each bank.
Mr. Emefiele has gone mute.
Yes.
Yes, it's not bothered.
I was giving to each bank.
That shows you that they have no respect for the Nigerian people. The president,
and the rule of law.
The president too, who ought to take the right decision at this time. Maybe this has to do with ego.
The Constitution,
but the Constitution empowers you to obey the Supreme Court. Could the president, this president, could he have done this during his first term? Let's tell ourselves the truth. Could he?
Have implemented this?
Implemented this?
When he was busy sharing trader money all over the markets.
No, the VP was, they even nicknamed him Starboy that time. Is trader money not even a vote buying? What are we talking about?
How many of those traders have returned the money?
Oh, so it was somebody entered this thing. I'm saying that this kind of policy that inflicted pain on our people,
instead of doing,
could he have done it during his first term?
Or during the election, when he was second term election?
Yeah, when he was sick, then he was first time he would need to seek a second term. He couldn't have done it during first time because he knew that nobody would re-elect him.
He couldn't have even done it during the election for his second term.
Now the Supreme Court gave an order. The Supreme Court resolved the issue of have you given sufficient time? Yes, you have the power to do what you have done. But that same law also says you must give sufficient time. So it was the job of the Supreme Court to determine whether you gave sufficient time. Okay. Supreme Court is not dragging your CBN Act with you. They do give sufficient time. Supreme Court reminded CBN of the fact that in some countries a whole year is given. Some even give 2 years. So you cannot start something in October and tell us that you are giving us sufficient time. The Supreme Court resolved that. So now look at where we are. Do you know why banks are not allowing this deposit?
Why?
Because CBN didn't give them go ahead to remove. Now the traders who are not collecting the money, it's not as if they don't want to obey the Supreme Court. It is because when they collect it, banks are not receiving from them. So banks are not receiving it from them.
No, they are not receiving it.
That is the problem. If banks were banks are paying that money out. Banks that have old notes in their vaults, they are paying old notes out, but they are not receiving it from people for deposits.
And for you to know that the program is a big failure, the number of it trapped, the number of amount trapped outside. Okay, we have Hassan on the line. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Ayo.
Good afternoon, Hassan.
Ayo, I'm sorry, I'll have to take you back. I want to contribute on your last topic.
Okay, quickly, please.
Okay. Ayo, you see, I don't like the idea of condemning or saying INEC failed in this election. One needs to know, and we need to know one's criteria in condemning the election, because if you look at things, a lot of things have improved in this election. One is the accreditation and voting process. Whether you like it or not, you must give INEC kudos. It doesn't take more than 3 minutes, depending on the voter. When your thumb doesn't work, like the card reader, they will take your picture immediately, give you the ballot paper, and you go and vote within 3 minutes. Give INEC kudos on that. Then another thing I want to say on this is, don't just because of one polling unit or 2 or 5 or 10 condemn 170-something thousand polling units. If you want to condemn 170-something thousand polling units, you have to have a polling of at least 80,000 or 70,000 polling units. So because there are hitches in a few places like 10, 20 or 30, you can't condemn the whole process. Another thing is, we in the northern Nigeria, like you saw you in Adamawa without light, mostly those places you see without light are things that are beyond INEC's power. Usually those places do not have Gen as an office of INEC, or maybe office of local government, chairman. They do not have light. And when you have such issues in just 1 or 2 places, don't condemn the whole process. Don't just do that, because when you're condemning the whole process, you're saying we have not improved, and we have improved tremendously. In the 19 northern states, what used to come out is when you see a process that is not fair, that you are forcing somebody on people, we don't waste our time in burning tires.
Yes.
Have you seen any state that burn tires?
Kill people.
Have you seen any state that came out to cry out that we were given what we didn't vote for? These are the things you look at, and don't just condemn the whole process and say it is
How
bad.
are you coping with the Naira in Alwa?
It is bad, Babajide. It's an evil policy, and we reject it in entirety. Just as you said, the president couldn't have done this in 2019. It is wicked. It is wicked, and it needs to stop. And let me tell you, he's holding on to it because of the gubernatorial election, and he will relax it. He will follow the Supreme Court judgment after the gubernatorial election. He will do that. So I'm standing by the governors and states that stood by the people. I will never stand by a wicked policy like this, because I want to defend government. We've defended Buhari. We were his facade from 2015 to date. We have defended him even when he was wrong. But this one is wicked. This policy we cannot defend.
Thank you.
It's directly hitting the people.
People are suffering.
Thank you.
Awan Hassan, thank you for your intervention. Because ultimately, you're a lawyer or a body lawyer, but when you now look at this Supreme Court judgment, and at the end of the day, Awan is saying that after the governorship election,
some people
do you know
have
the
said that
number? Do you know the number of Nigerians that would die before that time?
Their goal was
do you know the number of businesses?
Because they think those governors have old notes that they want to spend during election. And the governor of Zamfara, there was a picture of the governor of Zamfara with tons of cash. They said he was sharing it. But it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a very old picture. It's just like Zulum, Governor Zulum. Governor Zulum can share 200 million at one location. And he will do it by himself, standing. So a governor was sharing money. A long time ago, they made it look like a new picture. They now said, this kind of people. And the governor of Zamfara said, EFCC, break into any of my property that you are aware. Whatever money you see there, take it away. EFCC has not taken up the challenge since then, because he knew that he didn't keep money. I don't know how Nigerians think. Most people, most governors would rather store money in foreign currency. What would they be doing with our currency that has no value?
Those that drafted our constitution, the 1999 constitution, as amended, has the best of intention when it comes to immunity clause for president, vice president, governors, and deputy governors. And you can see what is happening. Our leaders are misusing it. Yes.
No,
because a governor,
I think 10 governors now, they said they will file a
contempt
against the Attorney General and the CBN.
You know, because why am I saying this? Although that is what happened, the Supreme Court in the United States cannot give a judgment against Biden, and for 2 seconds.
Maybe they search his house the other day. They gave order that they should go and search his residence.
He said he will not obey. Or the Prime Minister of UK. Or some of these, you understand what I mean?
Impeachable offense now.
These are impeachable.
Unfortunately, we don't have.
That even it's not even the Supreme Court that will take up your. The National Assembly will take up your matter within days. The Assembly, yes.
Look at the way they dealt with Trump now.
The Senate and will take up the matter. Okay, you now said okay, you can't obey. They take up your matter and will. So when our leaders
Trump
come to realize
now
that
some of them impeached him,
but a president just sat there because he appoints the Chief Justice of Nigeria, gets he appoints and sent to the Senate for them to now concur and rest of this. He can do anything. The Supreme Court gave a judgment. Till now, nobody is coming. Emefiele is sitting down there as a chief. In fact, he's a governor of his own too.
No, he's waiting for instruction. He's waiting for instruction.
But most often than not, you cannot blame Emefiele, because if the president gives an instruction to Emefiele today, do this. He has no option than to do it.
But even if we look at the Supreme Court judgment, he
had no option.
CBN was not.
So I still leave it on the table of the president.
CBN was not joining the suit. So
tactically.
And the Supreme Court said, as an agency of government, they are also liable So Supreme Court sealed that issue. The Supreme Court affirmed that. Now the president is the one who gave the order, and even in the speeches that I was reading,
said this. He said,
I have. You know, he has already. The CBN governor didn't do this like an independent person. He's been running to the president, going to Daura and all that. So it's the president that is responsible for the pains that our people are going through. We have to tell ourselves the truth. It just happens that Emefiele is the tool.
Is the errand boy.
Is the errand boy in ensuring that the pain continues. What I've been to the north recently, and what people are saying is, well, since this has happened, they know that Buhari will soon leave office, that they are ready to wait. Because so many of the people, they still have their money. They still have their old notes.
The old money,
and they can't take it to the bank. They can't change. This is sheer wickedness. There's no other way by which you can describe it. And I know that even the deluded people who are saying, I stand by Emefiele, in their hearts now, they know that
everybody's sharing the breakfast.
Yes, they will serve breakfast.
You may have the best of intentions,
when the rain falls, there is no even good intention in the thing. There is no economic value to what they have done. If they had read about how these things suffered people in India, they would not have tried it in 2016. And India has the tools that we don't have. But it suffered the poor people in India. The big people that they targeted, they did not really suffer from it. This is exactly what is happening.
Sikian, I want to thank you for your contribution.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being here.
Thank you for another one. Journalist signing out on
the quarter. On the quarter.
Yeah. And that's our edition today for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Join us tomorrow for another episode of our regular program that starts by 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Ayodele Osuba.
It's the 7th successive general election in Nigeria's 23 years of unbroken democratic rule.
With more than 93 million registered voters, this is Africa's largest election, having over 75% of voters between the age of 18 and 49.
This election is a massive operation, with voting in over 176,000 polling units across 774 local government areas. You need a station like TVC News for minute-by-minute account.
From the presidential and national assembly elections down to the governorship and state houses of assembly poll,
we are on ground every step of the way with live coverage across the 36 states and the FCT.
It is an election like no other, so stay tuned to TVC News for in-depth coverage, breaking news, exclusive interviews, and experienced analysis to help you make sense of it all.
Join the TVC News Decision 2023 studios for real-time election news, results and reactions live on all our platforms from our more than 50 field reporters across the country.
Hello there. There's a brand new quarter and your favorite TV program, CAC Weekly, is about to unveil new innovations fresh from the Nigerian Company Registry. Now, have you heard of the Extensible Business Reporting Language XBRL standard for filing of electronic financial statements? Do you also know that there's so much that you can do on your own on the company's registration portal, CRP, from the comfort of your home or your office? Because the CRP offers end-to-end electronic registration solution for accredited customers and the general public to initiate and complete pre-registration and post-registration applications electronically, online filing of annual returns, online registration of limited liability partnership and limited partnership. See you there.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking it. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC